What up, Net fans? NetsBoy bringing you the latest in your disastrous Brooklyn Nets news. Here it is, January 12th. And the Nets are absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. These last 3 games for the Nets are definitely a low point. Just definitely. Going into these last 3 games, I said, look, let's not panic. The Nets are figuring out. They lost 2 tough games to the Heat and then the Mavericks. They have 3 games coming up that they should be able to win because all 3 teams below 500 aren't good teams, blah, blah, this. And what do? They lose to the Celtics. They lose terribly to the 76ers, which I did say if they ever lost to the 76ers, I would not wear my NetsBoy attire during the next episode. I was thinking about doing that, but I just kind of said, you know what? The way the Nets have been playing that lately, they are worse than the 76ers, so whatever. And then they lose to the Pistons, which didn't shock me because the Pistons have played very well of late since they got rid of Josh Smith. But either way, there's no reason for them to have lost all 3 of those games. Except for the fact that they just are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They have become so lazy, not hustling after balls, Brook Lopez. So inconsistent, Jared Jack. And just so pathetic and weak, whole team, that they just are losing to these other teams. I don't know which game was worse. I think the 76er game was bad because they just screwed up massively. You know, that game. I mean, the Celtics game was pretty bad as well. The Pistons game, they were with them most of the way until the Celtics went on a run down the stretch. 76ers game was brutal. I mean, so was Jesus. They need to figure something out. Now, there's a couple things that they could do, but the truth is, they need to go back to the way they were. Now, what do I mean by that? I think Lionel Hollins got a little excited with the success that the team had when Jarrett, Jack, and Plumlee were starting. I think they overlooked their competition at the time. Because the competition was extremely weak. They played a bunch of teams that were below 500. Their only really good win during that streak was the Bulls. Jarrett Jack is a very good player. He is. But we can't overlook the fact of the type of player in which he is. There is a reason that in Jarrett Jack's 9 seasons in the league, or something like that, there is a reason he has never been a regular starting point guard for any team. He is not a starting point guard level player. He's not. He's a very good point guard. He's a good second unit guy. But he doesn't have that starter's mentality. He's not a complete enough player. He's a mediocre defender. He's a very inconsistent 3-shooter. He's not a great passer. He's just good at making mid-range jump shots. It's the truth. And you want your starters to be complete players normally, depending on what their role is. Jarrett Jack's not a floor general. He's not. He's not good at controlling the tempo of games. He doesn't make his players around him better. He doesn't. Yeah, him and Plumlee got good chemistry, but he's still not, a good, passer or anything like that. He's not a bad passer, but he's not a good one. And now Plumlee, on the other hand, he could be legitimately a starter, but since Lopez has come back from his back injury, Lopez has played very well, and it's kind of causing this friction now. Who's Lionel Hollins going to go with, Lopez or Plumlee? Really what he does is he starts Plumlee and then goes with Lopez, and whoever plays better, the two of them plays more. And I think that's fine. Personally, I think they need to go back to starting Brook Lopez. I said this in some of my older videos. The Nets need to go back to what they used to be. Their original plan was simple. Low post offense to Brook Lopez, play off of him. The reason why they stopped doing that is because Lopez got hurt. He got hurt towards, with I think the ankle injury towards the beginning of the season. Came back, was rusty, wasn't that good. Then gets hurt with the back injury. But now he's back, and he's played very well, including a great 15-rebound game, even though his offense was inconsistent in that game against the Pistons. He still had 15 rebounds, which I love. But before that, he had 18 points. Before that, he had 22. He is becoming what he used to be. And I think the Nets need to realize that it might have taken some time, but Brook Lopez is becoming the center that they thought they had at the beginning of the year before he got hurt. So why are the Nets not going to take advantage of that? Now look, Lopez makes mistakes a lot. He tries to force shots when they're not there. He gets a little shooter's happy. Sometimes he gets a little lazy. But he is really, I think he's the best player on their team. Maybe Joe Johnson is, but Brook Lopez, we saw in the game against the Mavericks when he went crazy in that first quarter, he couldn't miss. Lopez is the type of player you can ride. Now, he needs to get better learning about his shot selection and playing with the, taking advantage of what the defense gives him. But they should go back to him. Plumlee, I love his energy. I love his intensity. I love his toughness. He should be coming off the bench because that's what you want in your bench player. You want you want your bench to provide energy, a spark. That's what Plumlee is. That toughness, that energy, that defense, that rebounding. I want that in my bench players. And that's not being mean to Plumlee. Does he deserve to be a starter? Yes, I think he has. He's played very well. But he's more suited, his skill set, coming off the bench, playing 22 to 28 minutes a game, providing toughness, rebounding, defense, and the occasional awesome slam dunk to spark up that bench. The Nets should go back to what they originally had planned. Low post with Johnson, low post with Lopez, play off those guys, have Plumlee come off the bench to provide energy. And I think that they have gotten so wrapped up in this, we won 6 out of 7 games with Plumlee and Jarek Jack and Karasev starting, and we should have to stick to that. But no, that's not the case. You were just playing weaker teams. I don't think it mattered who the Nets were playing during that stretch. I don't think it mattered who the Nets played during that stretch, whether it was Lopez or Darren Williams or whatever. I think they would have still won no matter what because those teams were weak. But now, these players are showing more of their true colors. Jarek Jack's not a starting guard. He has not played well in a while. He really hasn't. And we're seeing his inconsistency now. Now, Nets don't really have a choice because Darren Williams is out with that rib injury, and he could be out for a while, so he has to start. Plumlee, we're seeing moments where Plumlee is starting to get a little too shooter happy too. Kind of like Lopez, but whatever. But now the second unit is struggling again. Plumlee should be coming off the bench. Lopez should be starting. Darren Williams, when he comes back healthy, he should be the starting point guard. The Nets are getting away from what their game plan was. And like I said, I understand why they did it. Lopez was out, and so you have to play with what the team has, and they want a little bit more of a faster-paced offense, but now Lopez is back and being great. And now with Darren Williams out, you really should play a slow-paced game because Darren Williams would be good for a fast pace. Now you really got to take advantage of Brook Lopez. And that's been the problem. Lionel Hollins is a little too trigger-happy when it comes to these substitutions when a player makes a mistake. Now, I like that. I like a tough coach. But sometimes you got to give the player the benefit of the doubt. Lionel Hollins doesn't always do that. I think the thing the Nets have to do is get back to that. Get back to their original plan, because now they have more of the team to do it. That being said, the Nets just overall need to play better. People are missing shots. They're not hustling. They're being out-rebounded, being out-blocked. They're not making their extra pass. It's just been terrible. And I thought this team figured it out, but I was wrong. And these last 3 games were just terrible. Terrible. So what could the Nets do to fix this? Well, I've already said it. I think you should start Lopez and Plumlee come off the bench. Darren Williams is out. You got to start Jared Jack. But I think Jared Jack, Allen Anderson, Joe Johnson, Garnett, and Lopez should be the starting lineup. I think Allen Anderson should start. I like him better as a starter with his toughness, his great defensive mindset. And their bench, I think, should be Plumlee, Teletovic, Karasev, and as of right now, Darius Morris, who has played very well for the Nets. I'm very happy with that pickup. Boran Bogdanovic, that guy shouldn't see the light of day. I am really sick of him. I don't know what his excuse can be anymore. His excuse used to be, I'm learning the new NBA, a different type of game. But now what's your excuse? Oh, I don't play. When you play, you suck. And look, yes, he's technically a rookie. Yes, he's still learning, but he's regressed. He started off mediocre and got to a point where it looked like, whoa, this guy is pretty decent. And now he's just... Is it confidence? Maybe. But this is the NBA. If you're not playing well, you're not going to play. And that's what Lionel Hollins has basically done to him. Karasev has been great. I like him. I don't think he should be starting because, I don't think he's a complete enough player. But I like him coming off the bench being a little bit of a scoring punch. I mean, it's tough. The Nets have just a bunch of inconsistent players right now. And the key to be a great team is you got to be consistent. And the Nets haven't been able to accomplish that. But I still think a 9-man rotation that I just stated before is good. I think the Nets need to go back to trying to have, Brook Lopez dominate the game. Joe Johnson dominate the game. When Plumlee comes in, absolutely, pick and roll with him all the time. I think that's a good idea. But when he's not in, post the ball down low. Adapt the offense to who's on the floor. Don't play the same system with different players. Adapt. Adaptability is the key to a great NBA team. Consistency and adaptability and great defense and great rebounding. Those four are the keys to winning in the NBA. Nets haven't done really any of those well. Defensively, they've been pretty good, and actually rebounding, they've been pretty good. But consistency and adaptability, they've been atrocious. That being said, there have been some sprinkling of rumors again about the Nets trading Brook Lopez. I have said several times I am not an advocate of Brook Lopez being traded. He is my favorite Net. However, I do understand the theory behind it. But I need to tell you this. If you are going to trade Brook Lopez, you have to buy in to a new run-and-gun philosophy. Because Plumlee is not a great half-court player, but he is a perfect fast-tempo player. If you trade Brook Lopez, you need to make sure you get players that can fit in a faster, fast-tempo offense. It's the truth. Because that would work better for the Nets if they play a quicker tempo. But right now, they have Lopez. So they should continue to play slow and use him. It's their best chance. I did find a little fun trade involving Brook Lopez. It's the only trade that I thought perhaps the Nets could do. Like I said, this is not a rumor. This is nothing. This is a trade I found that the Nets could possibly do through the the trade machine, and logically it makes some sense. If the Nets wanted to get rid of Lopez to allow play a little bit more of a faster tempo, here's a trade they can do. The only team that I feel like would really embrace Brook Lopez and his skill set and what they want to do is a team like the Miami Heat. A team that they believe they have the talent to be good, but they just need to have a little bit of help. So I would trade Brook Lopez for Luol Deng, Norris Cole, and Sean Williams. The Nets would get Luol Deng, a great perimeter defender, decent three shooter, solid player. He can be their starting small forward. Slide Joe Johnson back to the 2. That would be a very good team. They get Norris Cole, gives them some point guard depth right now, because right now they don't have good point guard depth because, Darren Williams is out. And then Sean Williams, a stretch four who could play some minutes here and there. Really, I threw him in for salary purposes. On the other side, the Miami Heat got Brook Lopez. Imagine Chris Bosh, Brook Lopez, front court. It's pretty good. I think that's a good blend of players. I think that's a good combination of players there. Then you got Dwayne Wade, Mario Chalmers. Not exactly sure who the starting small forward would be. Maybe you want to start Danny Granger, who's been coming off the bench for them, but I don't know. I think that would work for the Heat. I don't know. If you know any Heat fans, ask them how would they feel about having Brook Lopez, losing Daniel Cole and Sean Williams for Brook Lopez. They don't really need Norris Cole anymore. They got Shabazz Napier to come off the bench behind Chalmers. Sean Williams is certainly an easy guy to get overlooked, to get past. I think that would be a good deal. Once again, I don't want Lopez to be traded, but I'm just saying, if you're going to trade Lopez, these are the type of players I would kind of want in that deal. But look, they shouldn't trade Lopez. I think they should utilize him and try to continue to play off of him, play off of Joe Johnson. If you're going to trade anybody on the Nets, I think it should be Bogdanovic. Why do I think that? I'm sick of him. And because he's still considered a young prospect, and because he's good, you can get something decent for him. But the Nets do need another point guard. I'm going to be honest. I don't trust Jarachak enough. And even though Darius Morrison's played well, I don't trust him either. Okay? So, that being said, this Nets team is really getting me mad. But let's see what the hell will happen. This is a tough stretch for the Nets coming up. Tough stretch. They have the Houston Rockets tonight. That's going to be a loss. But who knows? Who knows with this Nets team? Then they have the Grizzlies on Wednesday. Now, NetsBoy, will be at that Grizzlies game. I said that last week. I will be at that game with my brother and father. I will be there. So if you, any of my 12 to 20 viewers, are at the Nets-Grizzlies game, keep your eyes open for me. I will look like this. Fix my eyebrow a little bit. I will most likely be wearing this jersey and this hat, and hopefully I will have this face. If you see me, and you happen to be one of my 12 to 20 viewers, come up. Don't be afraid to be like, "Are you NetsBoy?" I will freaking love that. I'll be like, "That's so cool. I got like only 20 people in the whole world who could recognize me, and I happen to run into them." Now, if you're not at that game, then obviously you're not going to do that, but I would really appreciate it. In my mind, I'm a celebrity with my 20 viewers. But that's more of a mental thing. But anyway, if you see me, hey, just say something. I would love it to meet somebody who are actually any of my viewers who I don't know. I think that's kind of neat. But I will be at that game. I'll be rooting for Vince Carter and the Nets. So basically, I want Vince Carter to score 20 points and dunk on Bogdanovic, but the Nets win. So, yeah, that's what I hope will happen in that game. But I will be there. So if you see me there, say something. But that will probably be a loss as well, though. Then the Nets have a home-and-home against the Wizards. They've got to win one of those games. Now, I know the Wizards are a really good team. I think they're the 3 seed? 4 seed right now in the East, 25-12. Really good team. I think the Nets can actually win one of those 2 games. But I don't really know because the Nets have been so bad of late. I'm going to say they're going to win one of those 2 games. So that means they're going to go 1-3 the next 4 games. That is pretty bad. And I really hope that doesn't happen. Because if they go 1-3 the next 4 games, they're going to be 17-24. And then it's almost panic mode time at that point. But hopefully, they listen to me. They go back to their old style play, their old low post play, because now they have the healthier Lopez and Johnson going. Maybe they win some of these games. Because like I said last episode, they've got to start winning 2 out of 3 and 3 out of 4. They've got it. And they went the opposite direction this last week. They've got to start figuring it out. If they don't start figuring it out, they are going to have to trade people, and they are going to have to make moves because they don't have much of a choice. They don't. And if they can't find people for, if they can't find suitors or teams that want Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, and Brook Lopez, they have to start looking elsewhere. As in, maybe trade other players. Maybe trade Bogdanovic. Maybe trade Allen Anderson. Maybe even trade Plumlee. I know they love Plumlee, but because Plumlee has looked so sharp, maybe they use him to get a really good player. Maybe they even trade Jared Jack, who's also played well, to bring in a little bit more something else. I don't know. Maybe they even trade Teletovic. I also wouldn't like that, but Teletovic hasn't played well either. But for now, like I said, the Nets should maybe go back to their old style of play, with the play that they originally thought they were going to do at the beginning of the season. And see if that works now that Lopez is healthy. What else you got to lose? You lost 5 straight games. If it doesn't work, then you look to try to make a move. But don't be set on trading Johnson, Williams, or Lopez. Be open to other players being moved that could help this team. Because this team, like I said, they are not the 8th best. Well, right now, they're worse than the 8th best team in the East. But in my opinion, they really are the 4th or 5th best team in the East. They really are. And I am finally getting sold on Atlanta, watching them play. You know what? The Nets are the 5th best team in the East right now. In my opinion. Well, they should be. They should be the 5th best team in the East. They should be. And they gotta fix their problems because it's just disappointing and it's really getting on my nerves. Thank goodness Seton Hall is playing well, even though they lost to Xavier, but they did manage to beat Creighton on an awesome buzzer beater by Sterling Gibbs again. So at least one of my basketball teams are playing well still. Maybe I'll become Seton Hall boy. Doesn't roll off the tongue as well as NetsBoy. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see what happens these next 4 games. Hopefully the Nets can scrape together some upset wins over some good teams. Because something's got to give. And I really don't want it to be Lopez, but something. So until then, this is NetsBoy trying to stay positive and signing off.